Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, April 27th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. In today's top story, the Norwood Police and Fire responded to a pedestrian accident on Washington Street Wednesday morning. A car struck a pedestrian crossing the street right outside of Norwood Hospital. The pedestrian was immediately rushed to the hospital, where sadly she passed away from her injuries. Police Chief William Brooks provided us with a report of the accident.
Hi, this is Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department, here with an update. I think most people probably saw on the news that we had a pedestrian crash in front of Norwood Hospital on Wednesday, right around noontime. As it turns out, from what we can tell preliminarily, a pedestrian was crossing from the Guile Medical side in the direction of the hospital, apparently going to visit someone who was at the hospital. She was an 81-year-old woman from Foxborough. There was a Norwood resident traveling northbound on Washington Street, passing the hospital. All we know is that he struck her and she was seriously injured. A doctor and some other staff came from Norwood Hospital and treated her right there on the road and then brought her into the hospital. Unfortunately, she passed away from her injuries. Now, the investigation is in the early stages, and as most people probably know by statute, the district attorney is in charge of that type of an investigation, and he assures that his office works closely with the local police department. So we are working with an assistant district attorney, with state police from the crime lab, with state police who perform accident reconstruction, and our detectives and patrol officers are involved. Officer Derek Wennerstrand is the lead investigator from our department investigating that. At this point, it doesn't appear that alcohol or speed played any kind of a role, but of course we can't draw that conclusion until the investigation is over and we're in the early stages. As far as other news around the town, I think residents will begin seeing officers in two-man cars soon, and that's because on Friday we had 3 new officers graduate from the Transit Police Academy following their 6-month period in the academy. So they'll start on Monday, and we also have a lateral transferring here from Cape Cod. So we'll actually have 4 new officers hitting the street Monday. They'll be going out with field training officers, so if you see a 2-man unit, that's a training unit breaking in one of those new officers. We actually have a 5th officer graduating from the police academy on June 7th. You'll probably also see bike patrols around too. We've started that up just because the weather has finally broken, so for the most part we deploy bikes in pairs. We've been using them a lot in congested pedestrian areas to do pedestrian enforcement and texting enforcement, because they can actually ride up alongside cars, see what people are doing with their phones, wave the people over, and we just find it more effective to be using bikes for that purpose. So you'll see that. You might have seen some of that on our social media. We've got 2 rape aggression defense courses coming up. Now, that program is handled by Sergeant Sarah Lydon. If you've got a female in your family that's graduating from the high school, there's a special session being held for them. I really encourage women who are going to graduate from the high school to sign up for that. It's a 3-day self-defense course that we're often offering that is targeted towards women who will be graduating from Norwood High School. And then we'll be running another one, a general class on rape aggression defense, and that'll be in June. And finally, I guess the last thing I want to talk about is our most recent session, really our first session in a long time with the Citizen Police Academy, is wrapping up Monday night. It's really been successful. I've been bumping into some of the students around town. They seem very pleased with the program. We will be offering it again in the fall, so if that's something that would interest you, we encourage you to sign up. If you have any thoughts, you have any questions for me, you know how to reach me. Again, I'm Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police.
Last Sunday, the residents of Norwood and different organizations around the town came together to celebrate Earth Day. There were several cleanup sites scattered around town, including elementary schools such as Balch and Oldham. A team from Subaru also went up and down Route 1.
One of my colleagues, John Aprea, and I started thinking about what we could do in Norwood to help clean up the earth as part of Earth Day. And we came up with a list of sites, all the different schools around town and playgrounds that needed some trash pickup and some love. So we put together a couple of groups to clean up those sites, and then kept brainstorming, and things came together, and we started inviting different groups to come visit us at the town common after the cleanups. And we said, hey, why don't we turn it into a community picnic as well? And Subaru got on board and decided to bring in some music so we can all come together on Earth Day to clean up town and then learn about groups in town that help the environment and build our community.
A group of us are here on Route 1 by Pier 1 Imports, and we are collecting bags and bags of trash. We have collected over 8 bags full of garbage that has been left here on the side of the road. We're doing this just because of our Subaru Love Promise. Subaru loves the Earth this month. We're trying to better our Earth, and what better day to do it than on Earth Day?
It's nearly May, and with town meeting right around the corner, Norwood News traveled to the fire station to hear from Chief Greeley as he highlighted the need for a new dispatch station for the police and fire station, as well as the need for a new engine. Over to you, Chief.
Why do you replace engines at certain times of their life? The National Fire Protection Agency, otherwise known as NFPA, they have specific regulations on and guidelines, I guess, and recommendations that serve the United States of America. It's a nationwide code and a nationwide requirements that they say that a frontline pumper is good as a frontline pumper for about 10 years of good reliability, performance, safety, and whatnot. And after 10 years or so, they say that you should move those trucks back into reserve and then use them periodically as you perform preventive maintenance on your front fleet, like our Engine 4, which is out back, which I think that you're going to see. The risk is for the last week, I've been running Engine 1 up front, which is approaching 20 years old, as our up front engine. Now, through the 19 plus years that we've owned this engine, or almost 19 years, we've maintained it. We've refurbished it after 10 years, and we've maintained it each and every year, whether it is the brake system, the pump, the rubber on it, which is very expensive. And we've been able to maintain it such that we can rely on it for short periods of time, but certainly not for a long period of time because of the age of the engine. Just like an automobile is considered a classic automobile at 20 years. And not a lot of people are driving their classic automobiles to work every day and using them each and every day. It's the same thing with a 20-year-old fire engine. They don't call it a classic, they just call it an older engine that needs to be put out of service or needs to be replaced.
We'll be right back after this short break with more local government news from this week.
Hi, I'm John Hall and this is Debbie Homeward. We're two of the members of the 9-member Norwood Community Preservation Committee. We're here to talk to you about an exciting event that's coming up on April 30th and we hope you'll attend. First, let me give you a little background. The Community Preservation Act was passed here in Norwood last year and we've been working ever since on the committee to make sure that it's implemented in the best way possible.
We will be hosting an evening in the Willett Room at the Civic at 7:30 on April 30th. We would love to see you then.
Just remember, we're going to be asking you for your ideas, projects that you think would help make Norwood a better town in any of these specific areas. We're going to show you some pictures of projects that have been completed in other towns to get you excited about what the CPA potential really is. So it's the Willett Room in the Civic Center at 7:30 p.m. on April 30th. Be there.
Welcome back to Norwood News. On Monday night, the Planning Board continued their discussion about the official rezoning map on Moore Street. The article that will be presented at town meeting on the warrant is to change the zoning district designation from manufacturing to general residence. The Planning Board voted 4-1 on making a recommendation against the rezoning. Ernie Pachakowski explained his reasoning for the vote.
I've gone back and forth on this many times over the last couple of weeks. And I think the chairman is correct in his earlier statements about this. I kind of do think it's a fairness issue. And that's been zoned M, since Bird and Son was in use, been since Bird used it, many, many years ago. Bird's been gone over 50 years. And should we look at parcels that maybe are zoned wrong by today's uses? Yeah, probably. You know, maybe this is one of those properties. But we didn't do it. And to be fair, now that the owner has an opportunity to do something with it, and we want to take that away from him, I certainly wouldn't want that happen to me. I think it's a bad practice to get into. As much as I admire what the neighbors have done, I think that the owner should be able to come before a non-biased board and have their say in a public hearing that deals with a plan that we can all discuss. And I truly appreciate everything that's been done, and you'll all have your say at town meeting again. But to have this come up the way it is because all of a sudden something's going to happen, to me, my gut is it's a fairness issue. I think that they should be able to come before the board with a plan, have the public hearings again, invite you all back, and go from there. So I cannot support this article.
Tuesday night, the Board of Selectmen held their weekly meeting and had a full agenda. The Selectmen first heard from DPW Director Mark Ryan. Ryan submitted his monthly report and touched upon Earth Day.
This weekend, we worked with the Earth Day event people, the first annual Earth Day event in Norwood, and it was, in my opinion, a tremendous success. Shout out to two representatives from Progress Norwood, Katie Neal Rizzo and John Apreo, as well as Catherine Delaney of Subaru of New England, who put this all together. And it was just really inspiring as far as I'm concerned.
Norwood Light Superintendent Jim Collins and Broadband Division Manager Daryl Hansen also submitted reports to the board and discussed a new way to pay your bill and check your power usage.
I don't know if you looked on your bill, but we do have a new web portal that will allow you to go online. What you do is you sign up, you go online, you can look up your usage, you can see your daily usage, and it will track from when we install the meters. So, you know, a year from now, you'll be able to go into your year and a half history, however long you've had your meter.
Wednesday night, the school committee continued their on-the-road meetings. This month's meeting was held at the Prescott Elementary School. Principal Brianne Killian was joined by multiple groups of students to update the committee on what is happening at their school.
Committee, thank you for coming to Prescott today. We're very excited. I'd also like to welcome my teachers that are here with me tonight and all the parents that came out and brought their kids with them tonight, so I appreciate that.
We started publishing our writing in Google Classroom. First we write on paper, then we edit with a friend, and finally with Miss Bishop, we publish our writing in Google Docs. Mrs. Bishop puts our assignments in Google Classroom.
I like Tech Buddies because I like to learn more about the Chromebooks. I like it because we get to use Google Classroom and Google Docs. Hi, I'm Caitlin Hamway and I'm in 4th grade. I like Tech Buddies because I get to help 2nd graders learn about the Chromebooks. I like that I get to teach them all about Google Classroom, Google Docs, and Google Slides.
I like being a Tech Buddy because it is a fun experience to teach 1st graders how to use computers and iPads.
I like Tech Buddies because I get to learn new things like coding.
Hi, I'm Nicole Martino.
And I'm Pauline Cordani.
We are part of the 2018 5th grade yearbook club. Mrs. Bellinger runs the yearbook club, and we hope to have a published 5th grade yearbook in June.
The yearbook includes pictures and profiles of students and teachers, 5th grade activities such as field trips to Patriots Place, Salem, Mass, 5th grade step-up day, our 5th grade pasta supper, and baby pictures. We are responsible for gathering all of the media needed to make our end of the year 5th grade video. Before we start putting the video together, we need to do several things. 1. Decide what we want included in the video. 2. Learn how to use iMovie. 3. Learn how to use this green screen and Do Ink app.
Prescott TV crew is really fun. I was in the first crew with 9 other kids. We worked on creating the first edition for Prescott Press Live 2018. This edition included segments about historical figures enrichment program brought to the school by the PTO, after-school enrichment programs, Norwood Port strawberries during Christmas time, kids' opinions, student update on 3rd grade wax museum, and teacher corner.
And with that, I conclude our presentation. I'd first of all like to thank all our wonderful students for coming out tonight.
Later in the meeting, Superintendent Dr. Dave Thompson presented the approved FY19 school budget to the committee members.
So in total, the total requests, again, $469,733, an increase of 8.9% was the original request. The new budget that you approved about a month ago, $45,024,649. That represents an increase over last year's budget of 3.3%. But we did have a reduction of 5.6%. Looking forward, we're going to be working on developing a 5-year plan, both programmatically and financially, and be able to define and predict and sketch out the issues and the plan for addressing them moving forward for the district. We are going to, and Mr. Kidd is going to come up here in a little bit, through his hard work and a grant through the state, we are going to go one-to-one with the support of the Capital Outlay Committee and the town. We're looking to go one-to-one with our Chromebooks for grades 6 through 12 for FY19, and I think we've already seen this evening the benefit of having technology in the classroom. So we will have half of our population with their own computer walking around the halls of our schools next fall.
The Board of Health met on Thursday morning in room 12 of Town Hall. Aubrey Seal, the Impact Norwood director, went before the board to give an update on the Impact Norwood Coalition.
Also coming up in May from the 13th to the 19th, it's National Prevention Week. And in Norwood, we were able to organize a few events. On Monday, May 14th, we're focusing on promotion of positive mental health. So in collaboration with the Civic Center, we will be hosting free yoga for any member of the community from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. with 5 to 6 being family yoga. And then on Friday, May 18th, we are hosting a youth mental health first aid training, which is a course for adults to take so they can learn the signs and how to intervene if a youth is experiencing a mental health crisis.
And what time is that one?
It's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Registration is free, but they do need to register. It will be held at the Norwood Police Station in the community room.
Okay, so this is 9 through 4. It's an all-day.
It's an all-day training. Lunch will be provided.
Lunch will be provided. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And who do you recommend attend that?
Adults in the community who work with youth or just have an interest in learning the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
So
do we have
any adult that has youth in their life that?
Yeah.
You know,
Even if they don't.
strategies.
Yeah. Even if they don't work with youth on a daily basis, but do interact with them.
It's
Parents.
just a tough
yeah.
time because a lot of parents might want to go, but naturally that 9 to 4 is
Yeah.
a difficult time for them.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Aubrey, please?
Sure.
You said member recruitment. What are you looking for? More professional, lay people, what?
Anybody.
Anybody?
Yeah, we're always looking to build our skills. So if people have specific skills like graphic design.
Okay, I didn't know
or
if you were looking for anything in any specific way when you said that. No. that wouldn't-
anybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Later in the meeting, the Health Department announced they will be holding Household Hazardous Waste Day on May 12th. Thursday night, the Permanent Building Construction Committee met with a full agenda. The committee gave an update on the bids they have received for window restoration at St. Gabriel's Chapel.
So up to item 4, which is review of the bids received for window restoration at the chapel. We received one bid. We were allowed to award that one bid if we liked the contractor. The bid was $115,000. I asked RGB, the OPM on the contract, to do a review of the contractor.
Who's the bid?
Azer, A-Z-E-R, Azer Stained Glass.
Where are they?
Out of Waltham.
Oh, it's the guy I met.
I think it is. You do have a copy. You do have a copy in the packet from tonight of the bid and of RGB's vetting of the contractor. RGB found that the work they've been doing is acceptable to everybody that they work for. They enjoy working with them. They did have 2 concerns. One is that this is the first time that Azer has bid a municipal project. which means he's probably going to need some hand-holding with respect to paperwork. OPM can handle that, it's not a big issue. He didn't fully grasp the concept of phasing where you may have to store these things. I'm not overly concerned about that. We can work with him on that issue. That's sort of immaterial to me.
My experience talking with him, he's a guy with some deep background in the work.
I think that is.
I would be very happy to see him involved.
Does he understand prevailing wage?
He did include prevailing wage in his bid.
Now, what about the reinstallation?
It will be done when it's ready to be done.
And that'll be a separate job.
Is it included in the cost?
It is included in the bid.
Oh.
Is.
Yes.
Right. He just didn't understand that he might have to wait between finishing and installing.
A number of months.
But if we get these things out, if we get the new ones out for a July start date, then they'll be done by November anyway.
But it seemed like his biggest concern was just that liquidated damages wouldn't be applied.
Right, and
which is reasonable.
And obviously we wouldn't apply them in that case.
I don't think liquidated damages is a function of this work.
No, well, it's in the contract, but it's not going to be an issue. If that's the only problem.
Yeah.
If he's waiting for us,
It's just an extension.
we can't charge him money if he's waiting for us.
And you know this company, Ted? Yeah, the time I went out to the chapel a week or so ago, he was out there walking around, and I just kind of tagged along after him, talking about what we were going to do, what he would do, what kind of a schedule he had, in terms of his work. And I remember that Serpentino guy from when we did the town hall. He was impressive too, and I was hoping either one of those two guys would get the work.
The board moved to accept the bid from Acer's Stained Glass Company. The PBCC will be bringing their recommendation to move ahead with the bid to town meeting in May. To watch the full government meetings, tune into the NCM government channel or go to norwoodcommunitymedia.org. We'll be right back after this break with the latest in school news.
Norwood Challenger Sports is comprised of friends and families of individuals with special needs and disabilities who have banded together to provide recreational opportunities for youth and young adults. The organization was created in the early 1990s by a few parents seeking to create an opportunity for their children to play baseball, and it has grown over the years to also include flag football, cheering, basketball, and special events. Our coaches are mainly parent volunteers, but we welcome siblings, friends, and local high school students. We are non-competitive and strive to make our activities a fun experience. We provide skill-building activities in a supportive atmosphere, and our players enjoy the combination of physical activity, social interaction, and a sense of camaraderie. For more information, visit www.challengersports.org.
Welcome back to Norwood News. It has been a busy week up here at the schools. To see everything that is going on, we will throw it over to Norwood School reporter Tim Rose.
Hi guys. Typically on this school newscast, we highlight all the activities happening in our schools and classrooms. But this week we will highlight the individuals that work behind the scenes and at the front desks at our schools. This week was Administrative Professionals Week, with Wednesday, April 25th being Administrative Professionals Day. This day began in 1952 to recognize the work of secretaries, administrative assistants, receptionists, and other administrative support professionals. Previously known as Professional Secretaries Week, the name was changed to Administrative Professionals Week in 2000 to encompass the expanding responsibilities and wide-ranging job titles of administrative support staff in the modern economy. On behalf of the principals, teachers, students, and parents, we say thank you for your hard work for the Norwood School Department. To offer his thanks, here is Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Dave Thompson.
Hello, I'm Dr. Thompson, Superintendent of the Norwood Public Schools, and I just want to take a few moments to thank our administrative professionals, our secretaries, our unsung heroes who every day interface with the community, welcoming parents into schools, working behind the scenes, answering phone calls, doing clerical work, and all the nitty-gritty that really makes our school system run and run so well. So I want to congratulate them and thank them for all their hard work.
It's nice to see the names and faces of the individuals who are vital to the daily operation of our schools. Well, that's it for your Norwood School News. As always, thanks so much for your continued support of our school community. Now let's go to Mike Maloof for Norwood Sports News.
Thanks, Tim. Little League had their parade and opening day last Sunday. There were 6 games played up at the Kelly and Wall complex. On Kelly Field, the Phillies beat the Twins 4-0. Dodgers beat the Pirates 5-1 in an extra inning thriller. And the Nationals defeated the Blue Jays 9-7 in an offensive battle. At the high school, the baseball team lost to Severian 11-10, and they beat Wellesley 4-2. The player of the game against Wellesley was senior Danny Quinn, who pitched a complete game. Softball continued their winning ways, defeating Wellesley 4-0 and crushing Framingham 17-1 with a home run by Aaron Murphy. Boys volleyball beat Weymouth 3-2, and boys and girls tennis both lost to a very strong Wellesley program. Girls lacrosse dropped 2 games this week against Natick and Wellesley, bringing their season record to 5-5. That's all for sports. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Mike. On Wednesday, the Norwood Historical Society held their spring meeting at the Day House. Society President Brian Burns gave a presentation of how Fred Holland Day brought his vision of ancient Greek sculpture. The Greek art presentation featured marble sculptures taken from Greek templates that were then translated into the miniature version that decorates the Day House. Also this week, the St. Catherine of Siena School put on 2 performances of Mary Poppins Jr. at the Norwood Theater. 2 different casts performed and did an amazing job. Congratulations to them on all their hard work. Earlier this week, field reporter Brian Boudreau sat down with Senior Center Director Kerry McCarthy to find out what's happening for the month of May.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm actually at the Senior Center right now with Director Kerry McCarthy, and we're going to talk about some things that are going to be coming up in May. So, Kerry, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
I'm not too bad. It's been a little while since we've been down here. I know May's a great month to be down here. I know you guys have a bunch of stuff going on, especially with, I know you have Teddy Mulvihill down to do a Memorial Day event, but do you have any trips coming up?
We do. We Nancy Kelleher, who is our program coordinator, she is the organizer of the trips, and she has trips planned basically through the fall, but the next few that are coming up, we have a Gloucester trip coming in May, I'm sorry, May 3rd. And then we also have the Cape Cod Canal's 104th anniversary, and that is going to be in August. So those book quickly. The sign-ups, fill up. So if you are interested in one of those, or have any ideas of any other trips that you'd like us to bring to the Senior Center, we're happy to do that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you tell me a little more about the event? I know it was new. Is it new last year with the?
New last year.
Okay.
So it's called For Those Who Served We Thank You, and what it is an exhibit of memorabilia from all the past wars. So we just started it last year. It's an intergenerational program where we bring in the high school students, and last year about 90 high school students came and toured. And it's just seniors throughout the community that bring in different memorabilia that they have from either their husbands, their wives, or their parents. And it goes from the Civil War right up into the conflict of the Middle East. We have the uniforms. We have the veterans themselves that are here to meet with the kids. And Teddy Mulvihill does a little talk. And Senator Mike Rush will be here as well.
Excellent.
And that's May 24th. And this year we're going to leave the exhibit up to May 25th as well, because sometimes people can't get here that day. So the exhibit will be up for 2 days.
Okay. And what do we have for Triad this month?
With Triad, we're fortunate that we're going to have Norwood Fire Department's Chief Greeley here on May 21st at 1 o'clock. He's going to give us some safety tips and let us know what's happening with Norwood Fire Department, and it will be his last time here now that he's retiring.
Wow.
So we will miss him. The seniors really, really like him.
Now, speaking of chiefs, I understand that there's going to be a dedication to John Howard.
There is going to be a dedication to John sometime in May. We don't have the date. It'll probably be the very end of May, and the COA board has approved us dedicating the cafe in John's name. It'll be called Johnny's Cafe, so we're really excited. He was a big, big piece of the Senior Center.
Absolutely, I agree. And so that's not scheduled yet, but so you guys got to stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up. And that's all I have. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I just welcome anybody who's never come to the Senior Center. Come give us a try. We have 16 exercise classes, and the first one is free, so there's no excuse why you can't come and give it a try. And then just watch for our newsletter. If you'd like a newsletter mailed to you, by the way, you can just give us a call and we will send it to you, and for $7 you will receive it for the whole year.
And what's the phone number?
781-762-1201.
Okay. Well, that's all I have. And Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian and Kerry. This weekend and all of next week, the Norwood Space Center will be hosting many different events to celebrate Art Week. To find a list of their events, go to norwoodspacecenter.com. Also next week, the Norwood Recreation Department will be hosting its Touch a Truck event. This will take place Saturday, May 5th at 9 a.m. in the DPW lot behind the Civic Center. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Norwood News. I am your host, Krista McDonald. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great weekend.